Hello YouTubers, welcome to another episode of Moto-Mecca
Monday.
I'm Alec.
And I'm Ty.
And thanks for joining us. Let's do a real quick ride summary. So we did a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ride days. Longest ride day was 524 miles. And our shortest ride day, we actually did 2 days with exactly the same mileage, 322. So to just give you an idea of how many miles we're out there riding. We're out there pretty much the whole day. No particular order, some of the things that we do after a ride this long, right? The wrong answer is go park your bike in the garage and go throw your gear on the rack and call it a day.
I know somebody who does that.
We know somebody who does that. They're gonna remain nameless. Well, for now, but later they're gonna get named and there'll probably be pictures and a video. Granted, these are not necessarily things we do the minute we get back, because typically after a ride this long, our last ride day was 341 miles. A lot of that was in
the rain.
The rain.
So certainly our gear was wet.
Gear was wet. We weren't trying to do any maintenance when we got back.
No, but handle that wet gear.
Handle the wet gear. So the first thing is definitely don't put your wet gear in a pile. That is a great way to ruin maintenance that we do. Maybe starting with helmets.
Yep.
What people consider with their lid.
Now, a cheaper helmet, you're going to have trouble with this.
Okay.
And that's getting the liner out, washing it. It's going to have a tendency to want to fall apart.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do this very often.
Right.
But a well-built quality helmet, you'll be able to take apart multiple times. The snaps will be good. You know, they'll hold each time.
Right.
The design is better, where you're going to want to take that helmet apart and get it into the washer and get that funk out of it.
Yeah.
You're going to want to take care of the helmet itself, the shell.
Right.
Right. Get all the bugs out. If they've got the vents in, that's where the bugs like to live.
Oh yeah.
You might have to
they get in the seals, like they're everywhere.
Yeah. Get a Q-tip out. You know, get in there and clean that helmet out. Get some Rain-X on it. You know, here we're always dealing with the rain at one time or another.
Right.
Even just a mist.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get on your visor, and with a good no-touch product or something on there, it'll help get those droplets off of there, and you'll be able to see a lot easier.
Yeah, I found that after putting on several treatments of a rain repellent, it just gets more repellent. It's almost like seasoning a cast iron pan, right? The more you put on it. What about gear itself? So you talked about gear that you took.
Right.
I talked about my jacket, that were all waterproof. What might someone want to do with that waterproof gear?
Certainly needs to be taken care of. Now, every manufacturer recommends different things.
Right.
But in my situation, I have a lot of Gore-Tex gear, and sometimes it's as simple as just throwing it in the dryer and reactivating it. So getting it warmed up.
Right.
And it kind of gets that factory repellency back to it. Some of the older things that I have that don't respond to that as well, I might use a wash, like a tech wash here.
Yeah.
And then reapply the water repellent, and it kind of gives it that life back to it.
Right. First thing, we're not washing waterproof gear with traditional laundry detergent.
No.
It's going to take that waterproof, water sealant, water repellent right off of that gear. So wash it with the appropriate wash, and then you're saying treat it with some basically repellent refresh that will basically add additional waterproofing to your gear. Really for boots and gloves, saddle soap. So getting actual leather specific saddle soap, you can get it at a lot of different stores, shoe stores, even a tack store, right, that sells things for treating leather goods. Clean it with saddle soap, be mindful of how wet you get it, and then treat it with a good leather treatment. And there's a lot of them out there. I happen to use a brand that is developed by a guy who's a retired firefighter who raises honeybees, and he puts beeswax inside this leather treatment. It smells wonderful, and it just makes the leather buttery soft and smooth, makes it water repellent again, keeps it from drying out and cracking. Again, take care of your gear, the gear will take care of you. Do not take care of your gear, gear will not take care of you. Something else that we do on the cleaning front is if your motorcycle has luggage like ours does, clean your luggage out. You might have left wet gear in there. Your dirty clothes were in there from the ride. You might have left a burrito in there from when you had lunch 3 days ago. And they tend to get sealed up warm garage, sitting outside, they get gross, they get funky. You open them up after a few weeks and you're like, oh goodness. So definitely clean out the inside of your luggage. Maybe if they have rubber gaskets or seals, you put some rubber protectant on those, because those will get dried out and those will crack over time. Again, 5 minutes, 10 minutes will save you some discomfort later on. Additionally, we recharge batteries on all of our stuff. So we're plugging in the comms, we're plugging in the GPS gear, we're plugging in, you know, things that we may forget for the next ride that we forgot to charge, and then you go to leave and you're like, oh, my comms only got, it's on low battery. Put everything on chargers, get them all charged, put them away, and then they're ready to go for next time. Lastly, when it comes to gear, firmware updates. So this is a great time to see if there's a firmware update for your comm. Is there a map update for your GPS device?
Please don't do it the day before you think you're going riding.
No.
It never works out.
No, it does not. Best time to do those updates is right after you get back from a long ride like this. Get everything sorted, so you put it away, you clean it, whatever, and then it's ready to go for next time. Let's talk about the bike maintenance, maybe the most important part of this. What are we doing with that motorcycle when we get back to the garage?
Ah, the safety dance.
Yes, the safety dance. Safety third, as we say.
Safety third.
Yes.
Well, your basic checks.
Okay.
Right? You want to go in, you want to check the lights, you want to check the hoses, you want to check the cables. You want to just basically put your finger on everything that you can.
Yeah.
And take a look at it. Your brake pads, your rotors. Make sure, you know, look for signs of wear, signs of rust, signs of, you know, anything out of the ordinary.
So like scoring on those rotors is kind of when you know it's probably time to do a rotor pad replacement.
Yeah, it would be past time.
Yeah.
Any leaks, right? You roll the bike in, say late one night after a long trip, and you come back next morning and there's a puddle on the ground.
Right.
And it's not a clear puddle. You need to investigate that. You need to deal with it.
Yeah.
Any adjustments that may need to be made, right? The throttle cable, brake cables, you know, anything of that nature. For me, it's a chain service. You have shaft drive bikes and don't necessarily need to worry about that, but I have to maintain the chain not only when I get back, of course, but also on the ride. So that's a constant thing that I'm always looking at to make sure that is secured and taken care of.
So you do your chain service, so that involves what, mechanically, and when I say mechanically, I mean physically scrubbing and cleaning dirt, grime, stuff off of the chain.
Yep.
How do you clean it? What do you put on the chain to clean the funk out of it?
You know, it's actually quite simple. I just use WD-40 and a lot of it. So I'm flushing and scrubbing and brushing that chain and it comes out looking new when I'm done.
After that, some form of lubricant, a chain wax.
Yep, yeah. Like something that we have here, like the Maxima chain wax, there's several brands out there that will do the job. But yes, they're all O-ring chains. So you want to make sure that those O-rings don't dry out.
Right.
And you want to try and keep the dirt out of them because that will help, that will destroy the O-ring.
Yeah, and anything that you use to clean a chain that has those O-ring seals, you need to make sure is O-ring seal safe and that it does not degrade those seals, because when those seals get degraded, that chain is done. Talk a little bit about owner's manual things. Why might someone want to consult with their owner's manual?
Well, you might want to find it first. Most people
physically or online. Yeah.
Right? Barely. You can find your owner's manual.
Sure.
It's going to tell you what your service intervals are, and you should stick to them. Because if you don't, like someone else we know, you're going to end up on the side of the road.
You are. Now, if somebody's checking their fluids, what should they look for? What is a telltale sign that it's probably time to change your fluid?
Certainly, a lot of our reservoirs are transparent. So you look at that fluid, is it clear? Is it light colored, or is it turned dark?
Is it low?
Is it missing?
Yeah.
Where did it go? Right? So that's definitely an indicator that you need to service it. And something like brake fluid, you need to be doing at least every other year, minimum.
Right.
Because it's hydroscopic. It's going to absorb moisture out of the air and it's going to turn bad.
Coolant, easy to do, relatively inexpensive. What is your favorite coolant and why do you like to use it?
The engine ice.
Yes, the engine ice.
I like it because it helps the engine run cooler. They say somewhere between 15 and, I don't know, 50 degrees cooler. I don't know if I buy all of that, but it definitely, I can see a difference in running side by side, especially running to Vegas where it's extremely hot.
Yeah.
That every degree helps.
Right. Lubrication. What are some things that someone might want to consider, things that you might want to lube on the bike after a long ride?
Well, most of our bikes are hydraulically equipped, right? Our front brakes, our rear brakes, our clutch. But there are still some things that rely on a cable, like our throttles.
Yes.
Throttle cables. People don't usually think about it, but there actually needs to be service done on those cables. You need to put a cable lube. I think we have some on the table. Yep, right here. So that right there, there's a little tool that goes into the end of the cable, and it actually forces the lube down into the cable, and it's an amazing difference.
Right.
Once you've got the proper lubrication, that throttle is just silky smooth.
Buttery smooth. Lastly, if you're doing a lot of this service or maintenance yourself, might folks want to document what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, because you can't remember,
Right.
especially somebody who owns a ridiculous amount of bikes.
I don't know anyone like that, but yeah. The guy,
How do you keep track of
Yeah.
all that, right? So
Yeah.
yes, great documentation.
Maybe a spreadsheet would suffice where you
Yes.
just document oil change, fluid swapped, any notable things. Again,
Parts
these
you replaced.
doesn't take a long time, but a little bit of time investment will save you the time in the future. Excellent. So Ty, any other parting thoughts before we adjourn this last episode of 4? This has been a lot of fun to do. Any other advice for folks out there who are looking to gear up and go on a long ride this summer?
Plan, plan, plan.
Yeah.
Right? We did our plan up front, and plan on working on your bike when you get back.
Plan the work the plan. Take care of your gear, take care of yourself, take care of your bike, and it'll take care of you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us here at Moto-Mecca Garage. We know you have a lot of places that you could be and a lot of ways that you could spend your time, and we are always forever grateful that you spend a few minutes with us. Thanks for joining us on another Moto-Mecca.
Monday.
Look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, if you like this video, smash the like button. If you really like it, smash the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get notified when new videos drop. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching.